China in the 21st century. What comes to mind when you hear that? Economic prosperity? Check. Military power? Absolutely. Unstoppable growth? 100%. Well, you're right on the money. So, let's get started. Before we do a deeper dive regarding the Chinese economy, I want to talk about three cities in particular. This is the Chinese megacity of Shenzhen, so-called the Silicon Valley of China, home to around 13 million people with a GDP of $491 billion. This is Beijing, with its impressive 22 million residents. It's not only the 8th biggest city in the whole world in terms of population, it also has a sizable GDP of $618 billion. Shanghai, the capital, is the 3rd biggest city in the whole world, in terms of population of course, and boasts a huge GDP of $657 billion. If you were to combine these three cities and form a new country with them, that new country would have a GDP of around $1.7 trillion, give or take, making their combined economy larger than that of the entire nation of South Korea. And believe me, South Korea is an economic powerhouse of its own. To surpass it completely with just 3 cities is definitely mind-boggling. The extent of China's economic success doesn't end there. China has grown over 50 times since the 1980s. When you throw around a big number like that, sometimes it can be hard to grasp. To put it into perspective, Russia, a literal superpower, has a GDP of $2.2 trillion, which leaves it around only 13% of the overall Chinese economy. I think to truly understand China's place in the world stage today, you need to take a step back in time and see how they got here. I know that awesome montage got you hyped, but I promise we'll dive back into modern China right after I tell you about how it got here. On July 7, 1937, the Empire of Japan invaded the Republic of China, marking one of the most disastrous events in Chinese history. The second Sino-Japanese War began, which would later merge into World War II. This invasion led to immense suffering and loss, with Chinese military and civilian casualties numbering in the millions. Cities were devastated, and entire regions were laid to waste. Before the war, China was fragmented, with warlords controlling different territories. The country was mainly split between 2 major factions, the nationalists, led by Chiang Kai-shek, and the communists, led by Mao Zedong. Despite their deep-seated animosity, these factions temporarily united to resist the Japanese invasion in wartime. However, this alliance was short-lived. After Empire of Japan surrendered on September 2, 1945, in China, the temporary truce between the nationalists and communists collapsed, leading to a full-scale civil war. The Chinese Civil War culminated in 1949 with the victory of communists under the leadership of Mao Zedong. The establishment of People's Republic of China marked a completely new era. Unfortunately, Mao's rule was characterized by radical policies like the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution, both of which resulted in economic turmoil and widespread human suffering. The Great Leap Forward was an ambitious campaign aimed at rapidly transforming China from an agrarian society into an industrialized socialist nation. However, it resulted in one of the most devastating periods in modern Chinese history. The forced collectivization of agriculture, misguided economic policies, and unrealistic production targets led to widespread famine. Estimates of the death toll range from 15 million to 45 million people, making it one of the deadliest famines in whole of human history. The Great Leap Forward not only caused massive loss of life, but also left long-lasting economic and social scars, disrupting traditional farming practices and leading to severe food shortages across the country. I know, it all sounds so grim and so dark, so you may wonder, how did China actually get on track to arrive where it is today? Well, it all starts with this guy. After Mao's death in 1976, China was in a state of economic disarray and political instability. By 1978, Deng Xiaoping emerged as the paramount leader due to his pragmatic approach and political acumen. He became the de facto leader, even though he never held the formal titles of head of state or head of government. Deng's most significant contribution was his series of economic reforms, almost all of which fundamentally transformed China and its economy. These reforms include, but are not limited to, agricultural reforms, introducing economic decentralization and market economy, and also establishing special economic zones. If we were to oversimplify Deng's philosophy and the vision he had for his reforms, we could take a look at some of his most famous quotes. Deng once famously said, "It doesn't matter if a cat is black or white, so long as it catches mice." I think this perfectly highlights his pragmatic approach to economic reforms he did. It signifies his focus on practical results over ideological purity. Deng believed in using any effective method possible to improve China's economy, whether it's traditionally socialist or capitalist. This flexible, results-oriented mindset led to market-oriented reforms like the special economic zones, which attracted foreign investment and spurred rapid economic growth. Deng's emphasis on practical outcomes, innovation, and incremental changes laid the foundation for China's rise as a global economic power in the 21st century. Let's take a closer look at Shenzhen, arguably the most successful special economic zone. Before its designation as one, Shenzhen was a small-time fishing village with a population of just 30,000 people. Fast forward to today, Shenzhen is a bustling megacity, home to over 13 million people. Renowned as China's Silicon Valley, as I already mentioned on this video. Another major milestone for China on the road to being a global superpower was joining the World Trade Organization in 2001. China originally began its journey to join the World Trade Organization in 1986. After years of complex negotiations, China finally became a member of the World Trade Organization in December 2001. This was a monumental step that marked China's full integration into the global trading system and the global economy. After they joined the World Trade Organization, most of the Chinese companies expanded their global outreach and managed to become some of the most successful companies in the whole world. Companies like Alibaba and Tencent are worth hundreds of billions of dollars. They lead most of the industries they do business in. Tencent, for example, was founded in 1998. Now, it has grown into one of the world's largest technology companies. Initially starting with the launch of its messaging service, QQ, Tencent quickly expanded into social media with WeChat, now an essential app for over 1 billion users. Leveraging its massive domestic power in China, Tencent even started making investments in Western companies like Epic Games and Riot Games. Strategic investments, innovation in digital services, and a strong presence in entertainment and financial technologies have fueled Tencent's rapid growth, transforming it into a tech giant with significant influence worldwide. Despite many success stories from China, just like this one, China of today faces several significant challenges in maintaining its growth rate, similar to the impressive growth rates of the past. This is mainly because China's growth model has traditionally relied heavily on investments and exports. However, this model is becoming less sustainable as the global economic environment changes. At this stage, domestic consumption simply needs to play a larger role as opposed to a growth model completely relying on exports and investments. But that is definitely easier said than done, and only time will tell how China will handle this task at hand. I know I haven't talked a lot about the current political landscape of China in this video. Its growing influence through different initiatives have been met with both cooperation and resistance by different countries. How China navigates these geopolitical waters will significantly impact its global standing. While China's rise over the past few decades has been nothing short of extraordinary, its future success will depend on its ability to adapt to internal and external challenges. The next phase of China's journey will require careful balancing of growth, innovation, sustainability, and international relations. Only time will tell whether China will continue its upward trajectory or face significant hurdles that could potentially alter its path. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I sincerely hope you enjoyed your time with this video. And yeah, if you have any feedback, any comments, please do not hesitate to comment down below and let me know what you think. See you next time. Take care till then.